everyone, and welcome to another episode of Out of Thin Air. My name is Beverly Lwenya, and I'm your host. Today, very excited to have our guest, Raj Biswas, who is the Global Vice President of Industry Solutions at Neudesic. Welcome, Raj.
Thank you, Beverly.
Hey, great to have you here. Raj is a senior leader with extensive experience guiding global industries through the challenges and opportunities that we all know in Industry 4.0. His work at Neudesic focuses on helping companies unlock the power of advanced technologies such as cloud, AI, and IoT, and to achieve strategic growth. So really looking forward to hearing Raj's perspective on the manufacturing landscape and critical steps that companies can take to stay competitive. So Raj, thank you again for being here. Looking forward to this conversation.
Same here, and thank you for having me.
Wonderful. So just to get started, lay of the land, let us know your role at Neudesic, how long you've been there, and just kind of what you do at Neudesic.
I'm a global vice president of industry solutions at Neudesic, and my role focuses on quite a few things. I think the most primary among them is working with our customers and our partners in building innovative and transformative products, which helps industries like manufacturing. Right? So we work very closely with Microsoft, with Databricks, with Thin Air, and a number of customers across the globe to build these solutions. The whole idea is these are accelerators and these are white box solutions, and this helps the industries to go better, faster, cheaper in terms of achieving their business goals. And then obviously the other part of the job is to work hand in hand with the customers, the key stakeholders, making sure that everyone is in the same page while we are implementing these transformative technology platforms.
That's great. It's a lot of work, and I'm looking forward to really talking a lot about IIoT in this conversation and manufacturing in particular. So, I guess from your perspective, a lot of companies are hoping to stay competitive in IIoT. What specific Industry 4.0 trends are you seeing for the next 5 years that could really impact the industry?
This is a very apt question. So manufacturing is undergoing a radical transformation. And in my opinion, the next 5 years will be defined by 5 critical trends. And this is not in any specific order, but this is what I'm seeing in the market in terms of our work, in terms of the industry momentum and the huge investments. So number one is agentic AI and autonomous decision making. So AI is evolving beyond simple automation. So agentic AI can self-learn and make operational decisions in real time, optimizing production processes without human intervention. We are seeing AI-powered production scheduling, self-optimizing quality control, and autonomous supply chain adjustments. The second key trend is hyper-connected IIoT ecosystems. So the manufacturers are moving beyond siloed IIoT pilots to fully integrated ecosystems where operational technology, the OT data, and informational technology, the IT data, seamlessly connect. Every machine, sensors, and system communicates in real time, creating a single source of truth for operations. And then the digital twins and predictive analytics at scale. So digital twins are no longer just simulations. They're becoming real-time, AI-driven operational mirrors. Manufacturers can simulate production scenarios, test changes before implementation, and optimize workflows without disrupting operations. The fourth one is sustainability-driven smart factories. So ESG regulations, as you are well aware of, are getting more stringent for the right reasons, and manufacturers are being pushed to optimize energy consumption, reduce emissions, and minimize waste. And AI and IIoT are enabling this dynamic energy optimization. Think about smart material recycling and AI-driven carbon footprint tracking. And then last but not the least, AI-driven supply chain resilience is going to play a key role. So the old linear supply chain model is quickly fading. AI-powered supply chains continuously assess risk, detect anomalies, and dynamically adjust procurement, inventory, and distribution strategies in real time.
Yeah, that's great. It's interesting to see all the advances that are happening currently. And speaking of those advances, many manufacturers, however, still struggle to connect the dots with that. How do you help them understand the strategic role of IIoT in their operations? How do you help them clarify the real business case and value of IIoT just beyond connecting a bunch of devices?
Absolutely. This is another great question. So the key to IIoT's real business value is moving beyond connectivity and focusing on decision intelligence. It's it's not just about having connected machines, it's about what decisions you can make with that data. So if we are trying to put this in financial terms or bottom line, IIoT and AI powered manufacturers see immense reduction in unplanned downtime, increased production efficiency, lower maintenance costs, lower defect rates, lower energy consumption and carbon footprint. So it IIoT is not just a tech investment. In my opinion, it's a business growth enabler. It allows smarter, faster, and more cost efficient decision making.
So, for manufacturers looking to adopt IIoT solutions, what are some important foundational steps that they need to take to ensure a successful digital transformation journey? And also, maybe you can talk a little bit about the thin air Neudesic collaboration that we have and how companies can benefit from that.
There are five key pillars in terms of ensuring success, right? And it starts with defining the business outcomes first. It's very important not to start with technology. So rather start with measurable business goals. Secondly, the data silos needs to be broken down. So ensuring IIoT data is integrated with enterprise-wide decision making. And then building for scalability, that becomes very important. So choosing modular cloud-based IIoT platforms that can scale across global sites with proper security and governance. And then this point is very close to my heart, and that's upskilling the workforce. So the team on the ground or the users of this tech stack and the business intelligence, uh, they need to be trained on AI driven decision making. Um, and we need to ensure that the change management is in place because for some groups, this change is quite havoc. And then last but not the least, it's very important to pilot fast and scale fast. So to start with high impact pilot projects, and then based on the success, based on the outcomes, quickly reiterate and also plan for that enterprise wide rollout if you are getting the ROI out of it. You talked about the thin air Neudesic collaboration. We collaborate very, very closely. And Thin Air is this amazing hyper growth organization in the IIoT space, amazing secured and low cost sensors with your SaaS platform Sonar. Uh, I think we complement each other's strength. So number one, in terms of the sensor data, we have a first party integration with thin air sensor data. Um, Secondly, we extend Sonar's capability in terms of building this open and scalable uh, cloud IIoT platform built on Azure. So it's a very complementary collaboration, which ensures that the customer gets the best value out of it. They can extend their existing sensor and IIoT deployment. They can start from scratch. So this partnership essentially ensures that we are meeting the manufacturers wherever they are in their digital transformation journey.
So Neudesic works with companies across industries. How do you tailor digital strategies for manufacturers to address their unique challenges, such as supply chain, predictive maintenance, issues with workforce enablement? And I know that there's a new initiative called SMIQ. How does that also play into adding value to customers?
Neudesic focuses on solving core problem areas for manufacturers. For example, supply chain visibility. We integrate AI powered demand forecasting, predictive supplier risk modeling, and inventory optimization. Secondly, predictive maintenance and smart assets. We leverage IIoT driven predictive maintenance models to ensure uh, reduced downtime and maintenance costs. And last but not the least, the workforce enablement portion of it, where we help create AI powered intelligent dashboards, digital twins, and augmented reality training to ensure uh, the operators and the workers have the right data at the right time. And to do all these and many more, we have developed a cost effective, scalable, and secure accelerator called SmartMint IQ in collaboration with Thin Air. So it's designed to revolutionize how the core industries like manufacturing monitors, maintains, and manages their operation. So from predictive maintenance to real-time environmental monitoring, SMIQ is a future-proof smart manufacturing solution which can be adaptable across a wide range of use cases and industries. Um, and this is built on Microsoft Azure's secure and scalable cloud infrastructure. So it ensures flexibility and prevents vendor locking, giving the manufacturers the freedom to grow without constraints at their own pace, at their own budget.
That's great. And speaking of budget, what strategies have you seen that work to help manufacturers effectively scale, but still capture ROI? And can you name an example of a manufacturer or company that you've worked with that faced challenges during their IIoT journey?
In my opinion, there's a 5-step strategy for scaling IIoT initiatives successfully, right? Um, so number one is the executive alignment on business impact. I cannot emphasize this point enough, right? Uh, a proof of concept is not just about proving technology, because you and me, we both know that the technology is there and it is proven. So that proof of concept or a pilot must directly tie to financial impact. The best pilots, in my opinion, have clear KPIs tied to revenue, cost savings, and operational improvements. Secondly, the cross-functional collaboration between IT, OT, finance. The number one mistake in scaling IIoT is IT and OT teams working in silos. So successful, if you look at the successful companies, they bring together plant operators, data engineers, and finance leaders and other cross departments from day one to ensure alignment. And then it's also important to choose open and scalable architectures. Um, many IIoT initiatives have failed or have not scaled to the way it should have been because they rely on rigid proprietary platforms. Manufacturers should adopt cloud native open architectures that can seamlessly integrate with existing ERP, MES, and supply chain systems. And I kind of alluded upon this in one of your earlier question is it's very important to start with the right high impact and repeatable use case, right? Uh, Everything cannot be transformed at once. So starting with a use case, selecting that right use case which delivers ROI in 3 to 6 months, that's very important. There are some well-known examples out there. For example, predictive maintenance and AI-driven quality control or AI-powered supply chain optimizations. This has been proven in number of times across hundreds of organizations. So these are really good use case to choose from. And then automating insights to actions. So that's important, right? So data alone does not drive transformation. What really drives transformation is actionable intelligence. So AI-powered IoT systems should be able to automatically trigger actions based on real-time insights, not just generate dashboards.
And can you share an example of a manufacturer that faced these challenges that you talked about and that you worked with to implement the changes?
A recent example is a global process manufacturer who were struggling with unexpected equipment failures, which were in turn leading to production downtime and missed delivery deadlines. And so the challenges, if I classify them, was obviously unplanned downtime, which I talked about, and this was resulting in literally millions of dollars, not only with existing opportunity, but the lost opportunities, right? Secondly, the data was getting collected in some shape or form across the factories, but they were siloed. So some of it was not accessible in real time, and the ones that were, you cannot drive actionable insights out of it because it's siloed. So everything was reactive, right? So for example, the maintenance, it only happened or only used to happen after a failure would occur, right? So the solution we implemented was very simple. It was a AI powered predictive maintenance model which was integrated with real-time IoT sensors. Right. We also implemented a digital twin technology to simulate the operations and give the operators a easy way to identify what is happening inside the factory. And then there was a lot of integration work where we integrated with ERP and MES systems for the seamless data flow and for the operators and the decision makers to essentially connect the dots uh, in terms of how this is impacting their operations, right? So specific impact is obviously reduction in maintenance costs, increase in equipment uptime, um, and then real-time visibility into machine health. So if you think about this transformation, it was not only about IIoT or creating this amazing platform in Azure. Uh, it was about fundamentally changing the way this manufacturer operated. So proactive, from reactive to being ultra proactive.
So, for manufacturers who have already implemented IIoT technology, so they're sold on it, data is key for them. Can you talk a little bit about the thin air solution and how manufacturers can get actionable insights and get that real time data to help them make better decisions?
So as I said, right, thin air obviously has the sensors, which helps in the blind spot coverage. But they also have this amazing SaaS platform, right? what we have done is we have integrated this sensor data, this high frequency, high fidelity sensor data, uh, and extended the platform. So now, we talked about scalability n number of times in this discussion. This is a truly, in its true sense, a scalable, secure, and cost efficient solution. I feel that this solution gives the lowest total cost of ownership to the manufacturers, right? Uh, and this data, now that it is inside this analytics platform, uh, now we can turn it into actionable insights. So, for example, I talked about predictive maintenance, right? So the sensors detects early sign of equipment degradation, and then the models that we have built, they automatically trigger maintenance actions. So there is agentic AI component to it as well. And this directly correlates with quality control, for example. So the sensor data from the production lines uh, is analyzed. Uh, classic time series analytics, and then the defects are detected in real time and often before even they occur, right? And which generates in turn automated alerts to fix issues even before a defective product leaves the factory or equipment breaks down. And then the real-time supply chain optimization, that becomes very important, and that's a very impactful business function for all the manufacturers and for many of the other core industries that we work with. So this system and this platform can monitor inventory levels, demand fluctuation, supplier risks, and it can dynamically adjust the procurement and logistic strategies. And then you can integrate it with other data sources around the globe to make it truly holistic. So by integrating Thin Air's real-time data with AI and cloud, the manufacturers can predict, optimize, and automate literally every aspect of their operations.
That's so interesting. So, and we, I guess, kind of draw our conversation to a close, stepping back a little bit. How have conversations around IIoT and Industry 4.0 evolved in your perspective, especially at the leadership level? So when you consider IT, OT, and other business executives, it can be challenging, all of them working together in manufacturing. So how have you seen those conversations evolve?
I think this is one question where I can give you a very succinct answer. So 5 years ago, uh, IIoT was predominantly seen as a technology experiment, at least from the decision makers' point of view, right? Um, and today, it is a strategic imperative tied directly to revenue growth and operational efficiency. So before, the conversation was, let's test this IIoT solution in this segment of this one factory. And now the discussion revolves around how do we scale this IoT powered analytics platform across our global supply chain. So the conversation has shifted from should we invest in this IoT powered predictive analytics open platforms to how do we execute at scale? And if you think about it, that's a massive shift in mindset just within a few years. And I think generative AI has played a crucial role. So those actionable insights that I mentioned multiple times, now you can get it at a different level. For example, you don't need to crunch through numbers or look at complex dashboards even. You can just interface with a chatbot and ask questions, and it's going to give you the answers. So now those insights have become, I would say, 10x more easy to consume, right? So the impact is amazing, and it's super fast as well. So the pace at which we can deploy something, has increased by 5x. using some of these technology advancements.
And so when talking to, a team at a company, like a purchasing team or a decision team, and all the stakeholders who are involved, what are some strategies that you have found to be most effective to make sure that when they're working towards the same transformation goal, all the different stakeholders might have different goals. So how do they come around and coalesce around one goal? And how do you get them to secure the support of the executives and just get full buy-in?
There are a few layers to this question. So one is when everyone speaks the same data-driven language, the alignment gets far easier, right? Uh, so the cross-functional teams, and I mentioned this previously as well, the IT, OT, finance, HR, supply chain, procurement, uh, they all must start collaborating from day one. So that alignment and collaboration is very, very important. Yes, it's an investment of time. However, it's going to give you very, very rich dividends. Secondly, it's also important to ensure that the key decision makers and the executive leadership understands the financial impact of these IIoT initiatives, right? It truly impacts the bottom line of the business. And not only that, it impacts and makes the business future proof. I mean, think about customer satisfaction, right? You ensure that you are giving the customers the best quality good at the best available price. Uh, your repeat customer rate would increase by manifold, right? You get the customer loyalty. And and then it's also important to have this unified data platforms. So IT and OT is sharing the same real-time data, and everyone is getting the insights based on the same data. Doesn't mean that everyone needs to have access to all the data. Obviously, access is controlled. However, the insights and the decision making based on this data becomes very, very unified. And then you also asked about the executive buy-in for IoT projects. Um, so securing executive buy-ins is probably one of the biggest hurdle in IoT adoption uh, because they are risk averse and focused on return on investment and business impact, quite rightfully, right? Um, so how do we overcome this? It's important to speak the language of business outcomes, not technology, right? Uh, so, for example, instead of saying IIoT will enable predictive maintenance, I think a good way to say this is with IIoT, we will reduce machine downtime by X%, increasing production efficiency by X million per year. And that becomes very, very powerful. And then showing quick wins before asking for large investments, right? So any executive would be skeptical of a multi-year high cost project, right? Which involves many moving parts. So it's imperative to start with small, high impact pilots that can show results in 3 to 6 months. So for example, implement AI driven quality control in one production line before scaling factory wide, right? Number three, uh, and we don't do this often, so this needs to happen very, very regularly, is using financial models to demonstrate ROI. The CFOs, they care about financial impact, right? So for example, if unplanned downtime costs $2 million per year and IIoT driven predictive maintenance reduces downtime by 30%, that's a 600K annual savings, which is easy to justify. And then last but not the least, it's also important to tie these IIoT initiatives with corporate strategic goals. So, for example, if the company has a net zero carbon goal, uh, it's important to highlight how AI-powered energy optimization reduces carbon footprint while lowering costs. If the CEO is focused on customer experience, uh, it would be great to showcase how real-time IIoT tracking improves on-time deliveries and reduces defects, right? Things like that.
Okay, and now our final question, a fun one I like to ask. As you look ahead into the horizon, what excites you and makes you passionate about IoT and IIoT in manufacturing? Any specific innovations or approaches you believe will transform factories?
The most exciting part of IIoT's future is that we are moving beyond automation and towards autonomy, right? I think the game-changing innovations that's going to come out and get adopted in the next 3 to 5 years is AI-driven autonomous factories. So IoT and AI would enable factories to self-optimize, making real-time adjustments without human intervention. And we are already seeing multiple use cases coming on this similar sector. And then AI-driven cognitive manufacturing, where factories can automatically adjust production based on supply chain disruptions, predict equipment failures, optimize energy consumption in real time. And so the number two, the broad brushstroke change is digital twin will become standard for all manufacturers, right? So every manufacturers will have real-time AI powered digital twin of their factory. And this will allow the organizations to simulate, predict, and optimize every aspect of production before making changes physically. And these digital twins need not be an expensive 3D ultra realistic digital twin. For example, Thin Air has a lighter implementation of a 2D digital twin, and that's good enough as well. But it's this is going to become the standard. This is not going to be a science project anymore. And then there would be a rise and absolute dominance of IIoT and AI driven supply chain resilience. So the future supply chains would be self healing. So AI will continuously monitor global disruptions and automatically adjust procurement, logistics, and inventory strategies. And this would mean shortages, delays, and supply chain shocks can be prevented before even they happen. So in the coming years, my focus is clear, and that is helping the core industries like manufacturing uh, not only implement IIoT, AI, and cloud strategies, but turn these initiatives and these platforms into long-term competitive advantages.
Well, Raj, thank you so much for sharing your expertise today and being our guest on the podcast. I'm sure everyone listening got a lot of insight from the conversation today. And I guess finally, is there anywhere that people can find you and connect with you if they're interested in learning more about Neudesic or what you do? What's the best way to stay in touch?
Absolutely. So there will be a few different ways to stay in touch. Number one, at Neudesic, we are a Microsoft Gold partner. And so you can obviously visit our website and connect with our team, see some of the amazing work that the team is doing globally. There are a number of solutions out there. Our guarantee to you is you are going to get the best of the breed solutions. Ensuring you have the lowest total cost of ownership with privacy, security, governance, and scalability. Now that's one. And then I can be personally reached out over LinkedIn. That's my go-to networking social media. So I'm very very active on LinkedIn. So love to meet you, understand your business problem, brainstorm what you are doing. So it's not only me sharing my thoughts and my experience, but also a great way for me to learn from your experience. So, and finally, Beverly, thank you so much for having me in the show. I just love this conversation.
Absolutely. It was very insightful. And we'll have the links in the description below if you're interested in learning and remembering how to reach out to Raj. And as always, feel free to subscribe to the podcast for more great episodes and more insights on IIoT trends and manufacturing. So until next time, Raj, thank you. And everyone at home, join us again soon. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you, Beverly.